Welcome to the Michael Singer podcast, presented by Sounds True, in partnership with Shanti Publications. For more information about Michael Singer's work, access to all prior episodes, and information about upcoming releases, we invite you to join us at michaelsingerpodcast.com.
Jai Masters. There's lots of different types of spiritual discourses. Most of them just try to lift you up, but there's something holding you down. That's why we go to church on Sundays and synagogues and so on, to have some types of freedom from the everyday stuff that holds us down. Real spirituality that isn't just a day or a moment or some sacred situation or time, is when you pay attention to not what can bring you up, but what's holding you down. Because if all you try to do is stretch your way up because you're tired, you're lost, you're down, and you feel the energy, spiritual energy picking you up, if you haven't noticed, it's going back down during your day, during your relationships, during your finances, during the everyday stuff that you deal with. And sometimes it's not even everyday stuff. It's those unique, really intense situations that life puts you through. That is where spirituality is. It's not just in the moments of being able to pick yourself up. That's very inspiring. It's wonderful. It's why do you go back down? If you want to go to God, if you want to really, really devote yourself to experience what the great ones have experienced, what Christ taught, what Buddha taught, what all the great teachings teach, you have to pay attention to what's holding you down, not just what can temporarily bring you up. So we've often talked about it being a stairway to heaven instead of a leap. People do drugs, people do intense meditations, people go to holy places. They have these intense experiences, but they don't last. I don't know whether you know that or not. Kind of help you along the way. I've been doing it for 53 years, right? They don't last. It doesn't last until you work on what's holding you down. It's like you have this anchor. And yes, sometimes the boat can get powerful enough to drag the anchor along. But while the anchor's there, you're not going up. You understand that? So this concept, this understanding of a stairway to heaven, what does that mean? All right. You start always from where you are. You don't start from where you want to be. It's nice to think about, but you're not there. You start from where you are. Well, how do you do that? Through consciousness, awareness, honesty. You just see, I'm in here and it's a mess in here. It's not always nice in here. I can make it be nice sometimes, but it goes back down. Okay, and sometimes, can it get intense in there? Can it get so intense in there you don't want to be in there? Answer me. Has it ever gotten so intense in there you don't want to be in there? Wow. What's that about? It's not about a pick-me-up. You know, a drink, and when you come home from work, to take the edges off. There are no edges. So what does it mean to start from where you are? It's a very powerful thing. It's a question of intense honesty. Do you see lust? Do you see greed? Do you see self-consciousness? Do you see embarrassment? Do you see fear of loss? How's that one? Anybody see fear of loss? Anybody ever think they might do something wrong and it bothers them? Anybody ever not think they might do something wrong? Somebody from 3 years ago thought you messed up 4 years ago. How you doing? That's what it means to start from where you're at. Can we have that discussion? Why? Because you do not have to be there. And your whole life is not about figuring out how to be okay even though I'm there. How much can I tell you that? It's not about coping. It's about liberation, about freeing yourself from being caught in yourself, from being caught in that place inside yourself. So one of the deepest things we just talked about was fear. Until you really get honest with yourself, you don't realize how much fear is in there. We live out here and there are lots of little critters, deer and possum and even foxes, okay, and armadillos and raccoons. They all run. Do you hear me? You have no intention of harm. They see you, they run. The deer run. They let you get a little close and check it out, then they run. Have you noticed? Answer me. Do you know that you want to do that also? Do you know that there is a part of you, I'm not saying just lower evolution, because it's more psychological with us, a part of you that doesn't want to have to deal with all of this, that tries to be strong. Do you try to be strong? Why do you try to be strong? Because you're not. If you're strong, you don't have to try to be strong. No one will talk to you like that. They say, be strong. I'd rather run and hide. I'd rather not have to deal with this. All right? Go to work and put up with your boss. Be strong. I would love that. Okay, can we have a nice talk? Be strong. If you are strong, you don't have to be strong because you are strong. The fact that you have to be strong means you're not strong. So what you end up doing is pushing away the weakness, pushing away the part that would run, pushing away the part that's scared, so you can put up a front that can succeed in life. Because you can't succeed when you run away. So basically, that's what we do. That's what humans do. That's what animals do. Well, the animals don't push it away. They run, all right? They just instinctually get scared and run away. Unless they really get scared, then they fight. But they fight because they're scared. I mean, a wild animal that's wild, it's scared. That's why it's fighting. So you have to look at that part of your being, which is very difficult to look at. Why? Because you've buried it so deep. Because society told you, you can't be like that. You will never go anywhere. You need to deal with that. You need to cope with that if you're feeling that. Put on a smiley face. Be positive. Use affirmations. I would say, like, first of all, I'm not talking against any of these techniques. When we're finished, you'll understand, right? Why are you doing affirmations? You do positive affirmations. Why? Otherwise, it would be negative. If a person is full of positive energy, they're not doing affirmations. They're experiencing positive energy. But if you're not, you need to find some way to be okay. That is your starting place. That is what it means to be honest with yourself. It's not easy. Is you're willing to at least once in your life look in there and say, whoa, what? That ain't easy to live with. All right? Are you sensitive? For example, you're in love with somebody and you're hugging and you're in intimate moments and you can't help yourself. You're so filled with love. You say, God, I love you so much. I love you so much. I can't even handle it. You are waiting to hear what comes back. If nothing comes back, you close. And if it comes back, it's, yeah, I love you too. Whoa. No, no, no. You're looking for affirmation. You're looking for strength. You're looking for, does somebody really love me? Really? Okay. Anybody hear me? That's what's in there. That's what you're sitting on top of. They tell you to be strong and roar. I don't. I said, be honest. Once in your, do it by yourself in meditation in a corner. I don't care. But once in your life, you look and see what's in there. And it's going to freak you out. Right? But unless you look and see what's in there, you can't raise it. You can't do anything with it. You know what you're basically doing? Running away from yourself. You're running away from fear. You're trying to get someone who really loves you. How can you tell? Why didn't he call? He said he'd call. Does he really love me? Then he calls. Oh, he does. What about the neurotic moment in the 10 minutes where he didn't call or she didn't call? Anybody have any of those? Constantly, but you're not honest with yourself. You just feel, okay, you feel relieved. Oh, God, he called. Thank God. Thank God. Look at that. Thank God. Now, why do I have this crap in here? Why am I so scared? Why am I so self-conscious? Why do I get hurt so easy? Because you have built your house. What did Christ say? Don't build your house on sand. You have built your house on sand. Now, do you understand what he's talking about? Christ was a fully enlightened being, the highest they come. He was liberated. He was free. And he taught you these deep things. And he said, don't build your house on sand. Have you built your house on sand? Is it pretty weak in there? Can it fall apart in 1 second? Can somebody say one word or not say one word, and all of a sudden you're crazy inside? Answer me. What's that telling you? You built your house on sand. Okay, so can we talk about it? What is the sand? The sand is this deep underlying fear. That's what generates insecurity. So it generates jealousy. What's jealousy? I'm afraid that you're not being loyal to me. I'm afraid that you're going to leave me. Yes or no? Has anybody ever felt jealous? Okay? It's a totally natural thing. If you build your house on top of, I'm not okay, I need you in order to feel okay, even though I'm not okay. And of course, I'm afraid that I'm going to fall back in this black hole in here. I've been there before. I don't want to go back there. And so I struggle to run away from myself. And I use you as a life raft in relationships and so on, and finances. Okay, I'm okay. I got money in the bank. I'll be okay, right? Until the 1929, they're throwing themselves off buildings. What does that mean? I'm telling you, it's not nice way down there. It is ultimately, we'll get there. But the honesty is the willingness to look at that and say, yes, I'm running away from myself. I'm running away from that part of myself. I've suppressed it. I've pushed it down. And I'm using the external situation in my life to give me strength to pull out of that place. That's what my relationships are. Be in a very beautiful relationship and have somebody do something you didn't expect them to do. How you doing? You built it all on top of these concepts of what will keep me stable, of what will keep me away from that. And then you build dreams in your head that says, if things will be like this, I'll be okay. Your dreams are not what you don't want to happen. Your dreams are based on my past experiences. I've seen that these things make me feel stronger, make me feel loved, make me feel. Not I am. They make me feel. See the difference? And so I need these outside things. And so my dreams are that they'll happen. My ship will come in someday. I have hope. I have not given up. What does that mean? Giving up means, boom, you fall in that hole. I ain't going back in that hole. I've been there before. I won't go there. I hope that someone will come, my white knight or princess, that'll get the perfect job that inspires me, that'll be turned on, that'll look forward to going to work. I once had somebody, when I was running a company, I hired somebody who had a very, very high position in one of the big corporations, and he'd gotten burned out. I didn't realize that when I hired him, but he'd gotten burned out, and he wanted to come down and just, work with a smaller company. And we weren't that small, but small enough. And he told me something once. I loved him. He said to me, Mickey, I was driving to work today. It was a long driveway up to the offices. He said, I realized it was the first time in 20 years that I looked forward to going to work. Isn't that beautiful? It ain't going to last. Anything that you need to hold you out of what's going on in there is not going to last. Even if it lasts to your death, you're afraid of losing. People who are dying are still clinging. But what about my finances? What about my kids? What's going to happen with my kids? I wanted to see them get married. There's all these things that I thought would make me be okay. Now I want to die. Yeah, how honest are we talking now? Anybody got that in there? You're trying to find the outside world, create an outside world that you don't have to deal with what's inside of you. That is not spirituality. Now, spirituality doesn't mean going to the depression. Now we're talking about deep, you want a technique? These are deep techniques that are techniques of actually growing, evolving, freeing, liberating yourself. That is not your natural state that stuff's in there. No, it is not. It's not a matter of coping with that. That can turn into love. You can have it to where what's driving you is not running away from that. It's that's pouring inside of you, feeding you day and night. Master once said, oh, Lord, how's that done to me? Wave upon wave of endless joy saturates me day and night. Ecstasy, throng upon throng. That's your natural state. How would you like to go from where I just talked about to that? That's yoga. That's spirituality. That's what's going on. So that's what we're talking about. Stairway to heaven. It's not a jump. No drugs are going to take you there. No relationships are going to take you there. They're wonderful. They're wonderful growth to help you get there. They're not taking you there. It's not, I love you so much that now I'm okay. Yeah, until you do something, or I think you might do something. You hear me? Good. I like seeing you shake your heads. I got the right crowd. All right. So what does it mean, a stairway to heaven? The first step, and you're afraid to take it, but don't be, is the honesty, is this discussion. And you look in there, yeah, ever since I was doing. And then things happened that hurt me, didn't they? And you stored every single one of those inside. You put them layer, mommy did that and daddy did this and this happened and the first boyfriend and the first girlfriend and then there's a school and I got dumped and I got fired. And what'd you do with those things? You push them on top of your fear. You say, I don't want to deal, I can't deal with this. And so you push them down to try and get strength. How do you get strength? By pushing the garbage down on top of your fear, right? All it does is pop back up, doesn't it? Comes back up. You're at work, you're doing fine. All of a sudden, you hear somebody got fired, right? All of a sudden, for 3 solid days or 2 weeks, are they having a downsizing? I don't want to get fired. Well, I don't. And you find that you didn't get fired. Well, you just wasted your time. I just want to make sure we're talking, because this is how you live. And it is not how you were meant to live. It is not what you were born for, period. And it's not who you are, okay? What's the stairway concept? Once you see the honesty of what's going on in there, right at the bottom, no, we'll live down there. I'm not telling you to go down there and get into it and wallow around. It does not do any good. Understand that? So you look down. It's like I just saw the vision of, thought of, there's mud. I don't want to be in the mud. Get in there, wallow around and get you. What, are you kidding me? You have to look and see, why do I want to get in the mud? That's how you grow. Why would I even want to get into the stupid mud? Not I have to go wallow in it and get filthy, totally messed up, right? All that does is make you get used to being wallowing in the mud. I know they teach you that. Okay? Here, I'll get the record straight. Nothing is as bad as suppression. Suppression is what the mud is, okay? And you keep pushing it away and running away from it. So what psychology often, and I have great respect for therapy and psychology and all of it, all right? Anything that you're doing that's working with yourself, great, all right? Is they will teach you, you have to get into it. If you feel these deep emotions and sorrows, don't run away from it. You have to get into it and feel real what it feels like, right? Yoga doesn't teach that. Yoga teaches, why is it going on? Not, can I get into it and not don't run away. Yes, suppression is running away from it. There's a higher state than that. It's called clarity, witness consciousness. You sit there and you look, whoa, that's going on in there? I didn't realize that. What do? If you suppress your fear of it and all that kind of stuff, it's just going to get worse. That's not an answer. And that's why they teach non-suppression. That was Freud. They're right. Suppression is the worst thing you can do with fear. It makes it worse. It just builds it up inside and builds more things to be afraid of, all right? But to go in there and wallow in it, which is okay, it's a technique, all right? They teach that. To wallow in it is basically saying, can you get into it so much that you get used to it? That you're not afraid of it anymore. I'm just going to get to sorrow. I got divorced and I'm just so sorry. I'm just going to get into it and I'll cry. And I have the right to cry and I just be there constantly. And just, I don't care if my life falls apart. At least I'm honest. Okay, there's a higher way. Let's talk about it from there then. So what does one do? First, these techniques I'm talking to you about, you don't start them when you're screwed up completely. And you just got dumped on or got died or somebody died you love. And that's you don't start playing tennis with the Williams sisters, do you? You don't start learning to play the piano with Tchaikovsky. You start with the scales. So I always teach you that. Your first step in working with that down there is not going down there and wallowing in it and all that. Or even, I hate to talk about this stuff because you misunderstand. Let's say you find that down there. The first thing you want to do is tell somebody about it. What's that doing? It's trying to release the fear, it's trying to release the energy that you're having to deal with. And that's fine. It's a stairway, all right? What's the real technique? You don't start when things are completely screwed up. That's your worst time to be doing that. You start with your everyday life. That's your stairway. The first step in your stairway to heaven is, I was going to say hot. It's cold out. It's cold. It feels like 19 degrees. Or no, it was 10. It was 10 this morning. It felt like, all right? It's cold. I can't handle this. Do I have the right clothes? What am I going to do? Maybe I should go to a store. No, it's too late to go to the store. That's where you start. You hear me? That's the neurosis, the craziness that because you can't even come close to the fact that you have fear. I'm afraid of the cold. I'm afraid of the heat. I'm afraid that when I leave the house, I left the stove on, so I keep going back. But then when I leave, maybe I forgot to turn the other one off. That's where you start. You start with the neurosis. You start with the unnecessary thoughts that create fear when there doesn't need to be anything. You do not have to be afraid of the cold. Well, I guess if you're naked in Alaska or the Antarctic, you better be afraid of the cold, all right? But come on, normal life, to be afraid of the cold, to be afraid of the heat, that's just neurosis. That's just crazy. That's just really, it ties back to the deep fear inside. You're afraid of everything. So what if it gets 97 degrees? But I might perspire. They might see it. Oh, here we go. That's where you start. You hear me? You start with the expression of fear that doesn't need to be there. Eventually, it will tie right down to the deep stuff. But you're going to deal with that deep stuff right away. It's really strong. It's way stronger than you think it is. You've touched it sometimes, but man, it's dark down there. It's not naturally dark down there, but you shoved it all down there. So you start with your everyday life. I beg you. I learned this. I had to learn it, okay? And you start with your everyday life. Why are you bothering yourself about here? I call it in Living Untethered, I call it the low-hanging fruit. What's the low-hanging fruit? That which if you weren't bothering yourself about it, there's nothing to do about it. What if I'm okay with the heat? Then I don't have to think about it. I don't have to be neurotic. I don't have to run around like a chicken with my head cut off because it's hot out. Not even it's hot out. Next week, it might be hot. Oh, no. Come on, that's in there, isn't it? That's where you work. A stairway to heaven. That first step. You can use affirmation. You can meditate. Yes, you can do things to help you with that first step. You need to. That says, why am I making myself a mess? There's enough things around here that I have to deal with that are real without my thoughts just creating hell for me when there's no problem. And they do. Okay? Go have it. Of course, I don't go to the barbers for 60 years, but have your hair done. Men or women, doesn't matter nowadays. And have them cut off about, a 1/16 of an inch more than you expected. And look in the mirror and watch your mind for the next week. That's what I'm talking about. You think it doesn't matter. I'm telling you. It's not a leap. It's a stairway. That's your first step. If you don't take the first step, you can't take the second or third or fourth. We'll go deeper, but I'm telling you, I can't stress this enough. You are wasting your spiritual journey by letting your mind complain about things that don't matter. They don't matter, do they? How do you know they don't matter? Because if I don't do anything about them, there's nothing to do. What's there to do about the heat? Enjoy it. Feel it. What's there to do about the cold? Shiver. Put another layer on. There, it's solved. Oh, but I don't want it. It doesn't look good. I look fat. Is anybody listening? Okay, I'm telling you, that's the first step. It's not how do I deal with the fact that my best friend died or my husband left me or my wife and the kids. No, that's not the first step. I'm sorry you got thrown into that, but you got thrown into it because it's there. It's there, and you've been running away from it, and God will not let you run away from it. I'm telling you right now. Y'all don't realize God and Guru, they're real, and every one of you got it. Not a matter of going somewheres, okay? Earth is a place that souls are sent to evolve. Earth, the little planet, spinning around the middle of nowhere, is a place that souls, that's you guys, consciousness, are sent to evolve. Now we're talking about evolution. Those animals have to run away. They're not evolved. They just, fear runs a major part of their lives. An evolved being has raised that energy. That energy's first, come on, you guys are yogis, that energy's first chakra, survival, fear, and that takes over, okay? You guys, you kind of manage to deal with it by suppressing it or running away from it. I mean, you don't run away from it, you run from it inside, but you've learned that you can rise above that constant survival instinct. I always tell this story. When I went to school, like high school and stuff like that, earlier probably, they said the most powerful instinct in a human being is survival. Ever learn that? That's a lie. I have living proof, right? Alexander Hamilton and Aaron Burr. Okay? Here's two very intelligent dudes, and somebody said something that insulted somebody or insulted their wife or something, and they're sitting there taking 10 steps away from each other, turning around and shooting each other in the face. I thought survival was the strongest instinct. Oh, I guess ego's bigger. See it? You've evolved. Congratulations. That is literally, that's the first chakra, third chakra. The energy came up to where what you're dealing with on a daily basis is generally not survival, but it is survival of your ego. Ever defend yourself? Ha, ha, ha. That's not defending yourself against a lion jumping on you. That's defending yourself over what somebody said about you or somebody thought about you. I heard Sally told Peter that Fred doesn't like you. Why? What did I do? I don't even know the guy. Survival. Okay? All right. I'm taking the stairway fast. So you have risen above these lower instincts of the survival instincts. Doesn't mean you don't have them, but that's not the fear we're talking about. The fear you're working through. You got to work from the top down. All right? Once you see it. So the fear we're talking about is the fear that doesn't need to be there. You're creating it for yourself. Can you work with that? That's your spiritual work. That's your inner work. How do I deal with the fact that it's hot and I don't like it? Here, watch. But I don't like the heat. Some people do. You don't control the heat. The sun does. The orbit of the earth does. It's really the tilt of the earth. It's none of your business. Be okay. So you use affirmation. I told you the story. I remember when I first did this, back in 73, I was out here. I moved out to the woods, living alone. There was no air conditioning. There was no air conditioning in my car. I had a VW van. And it was hot. It was very hot. And he complained a lot when he wasn't I made him meditate a lot, but he complained otherwise. And I remember stopping once. I'm just giving you an example. I stopped, standing outside my car, and he's doing his thing, complaining. Oh my God, it's so hot. And I asked him, hey, Mick, hey, hello. Why is it hot? Because the sun's hot. I asked him, what is the sun? And he said, and I never changed, I never forgot it. I'm telling this story 53 years later, or 55, right? He said, it's a star. How often do you realize the sun is a star? Stars are those things at night that twinkle. That's one that you're close enough to that you're complaining about. Stars are pretty special things, aren't they? And you're like close enough to a star, to one of those things way out there. You see Orion and the Big Dipper and the Little Dipper. It's one of those. It's just close enough to it. You're close enough to it to feel its heat. And then I asked him, oh, wow, that's pretty neat. We don't like stars. All of a sudden the topic changed. And I said, well, how far away is that star? 93 million miles. 93 million miles away. And it's that hot? Wow. That's pretty far out, isn't it? Okay. And then I asked him a neat question. I said, well, why is it so hot now? He said, well, it's summer. In the summer, listen to me. Most of you don't know this. I made him know this. In the summer, the earth is closer to the sun. In the winter, it's further away. Of course, it's hotter. Wrong. In the winter, the earth is closest to the sun. In the summer, it's furthest away. I like her eyes pop. It is the tilt on the axis that determines that it's hotter during the winter and cooler during the summer. And that's why you have the equator, and it changes because the tilt changes depending on southern hemisphere. Isn't it fun now? Hot made you know all this. Hot's your teacher. And all of a sudden you look up, and now when I walk, anytime I walk out of the car, I don't have to do it, right? If it's hot out, he stops and he does this. Just bring it in, baby. I told you, you do not get sunburned. You get star-burned. Does that not change everything, right? I mean, who doesn't like the star? And then you do anything you want there. That's affirmation. That's positive thinking. What does that do? It means you're not getting caught in some stupid stuff that you don't need to be bothering yourself about. There's enough stuff we'll deal with higher on the stairway that you're going to have to deal with. This one's easy. Take the low-hanging fruit. I'm begging you. Wait till you see what happens. Your whole life changes. Why? You were getting upset because of the traffic, or because of how somebody's driving in front of you, or because of the heat, or because of the weather, or because you have a little tiny zit underneath your chin that nobody can see, but you have one of those 700-time magnifying mirrors. Oh, it looks like a pit in the Grand Canyon. What are you doing? There's a solution to that. Don't look in that mirror. You're like looking for trouble. Anybody hearing me? That is the first step on the path. Doesn't seem like it. What's it got to do with God? Everything. Because it has to do with acceptance. It has to do with not creating problems when there aren't any. It's your anchor. So you start doing this whenever you can, about whatever you can. And what's going to happen is, now that you can do it with these simple little things, I always say the driver in front of you, I can't get into it. I don't never enough time for everything I want to talk about. Has anyone ever talked to the driver in front of them? Did you know they don't hear you? Did you know you can complain all you want, and all you're doing is make yourself sick? That's low-hanging fruit, isn't it? If you weren't bothering yourself about it, there's nothing to do about it. If you can pass, pass. If it's safe, pass. Nobody told you not to pass. Nobody told you be some discipline thing, right? But if you're in a single lane road on one side and there's traffic and he's driving 15 miles an hour below the speed limit and you're in a rush, the net result is, why bother yourself about it? And you'll know what? Your mind will come up with reasons. Because I might be late for work. I don't have time. I have things I have to do. It's just bringing fear, or you're making up reasons to have fear, to be bothered. How about we don't do that? That's the first step. I don't care how you figure it out. Find a way to catch yourself when it's expressing this neurotic fear of not liking things. That's step one in the path. Then what happens? You're going to find out, and you'll be shocked how fast it happens, that you're happier than you used to be. You stop making yourself unhappy with stupid things. It literally makes you happier. I like that, right? Why would it not? Now I feel the heat and I get high. I used to get all upset. And the same thing with the driver in front of me. Find a way to be fine with it. Have fun with it. Do mantra. I don't care. Any technique you want. I'd say I don't teach techniques, but this is the technique. That staircase. And you don't pay attention. I do my mantra. Yeah, but do you do this? Do you stop bothering yourself about things that are stupid to bother yourself about? And you'll be a much better, happier person. And closer to God, by the way. God did not create creation so you can complain about it. He created it so he can experience every single thing there is that he created. And he ain't complaining about nothing. He's like, wow, wow, wow. Okay? And you're in there complaining about what God created there. So that's what it has to do with God, everything. All right, let's take the next step. What happens when you do that first one? And you can do it very quickly. Do you understand that? All right? Work with yourself. It's called inner work. Work with it. All right, now what happens? Now you're going to find out that something a little bigger happens. Like, really traumatic. Like your friend Sally, when you call out to her, and when you're walking by the plaza or something like that, hey, Sally, how you doing? And she doesn't acknowledge you. Well, that's bigger than the heat. Now we're getting serious. Why didn't Sally say hello? What did I do? Watch your mind. What did I do wrong? Did somebody tell her what I said 3 years ago about her? Oh no, she promised she would never say. What if she did? Should I call her? Should I ask if she told her? Now you're neurotic about something a little bigger, right? Rejection, fear of loss, doing something wrong, right? Now we're up to the ego. What's your technique for that next step? How to be okay? I used to be intense. I meditated all the time and did yoga, walking, then walking. I mean, really, it was a 24/7 thing with me. And little by little, I learned what works. Okay? Well, what works for this? Don't try to do anything about that. Just notice that Sally walked by and your mind is going crazy because she didn't say hello. Okay? Just notice. That's all I ask. Don't know anything about it. Don't go running after her. All right? Just notice how neurotic you got about that. Trying to figure out why she didn't say hello. And what do I do next time I see her? I don't want to see her. I know I can't handle it. I can't handle it. I don't know what she did. I can't handle it. Can't handle it. Right? I don't want to hear that she found it. Will you please watch your mind? Does it do that? Yes or no? Answer me. Does it do that? You better say yes. Okay? I mean, some of the people that are supposed to be the strongest, most powerful, richest people in our lives that we know anything about do that about absolutely everything. If anybody says one word against them, there's hellfire takes place and we're in court. That type of power is meaningless. The power to make it be the way you want it to be, why can't you handle reality? So the net result is, of course you're like that. Now, what do I do about that? What I would have you do is don't get into it. Don't try to figure out why she didn't say hello. She had earbuds on. She didn't hear you. There could be a billion things. She's lost in her thought. She's busy being neurotic about what somebody else did. What are you going to figure it out? So what you do is you're the witness. Now you're ready. You handled the heat. You handled the cold. You handled the driver by watching, noticing how stupid it is. Now, will you watch that? Just watch. And then I want you over time to see how much time you wasted with stuff that turned out to be nothing. Because I'm telling you, the percentage is phenomenal. If you go back and look at your life of these silly little stupid things, mostly it's relationship things, in that relationships, they touch you deep, don't they, right? Really self-concept, the whole thing. And you just worry about it and you think about it and it sets you off and you have trigger points and then it doesn't turn out to be anything. You didn't get fired. The person wasn't holding their arms across their third chakra because that's body language. They had a stomach ache. Why do you want to look at this stuff? All it does is make you neurotic. You know what I want to do? I want to figure out how to protect myself. If I can read the body language, I'm being bad now, talking against stuff. I'm not really against anything. But if I can read body language, I can figure out how to protect myself. Why else would you want to? What do you care how I sit? What do you care if I got a little twitch and when you're talking to me, I twitch a little bit. What am I saying? What did I do? Oh my God, I'm making a guy twitch. You are like that. You understand that? And so you start noticing how often these things are just full of it. There's nothing happening. It's your mind, because of the fear you have inside, it always thinks the worst, doesn't it? He doesn't like me. I can tell he doesn't like me. My God, he just walked by. He's purposely avoiding me. He didn't even see you. Why are you doing that? Because of that thing down there, way down there, that we looked at to start with. It expresses itself all the way up. It just ends up being every argument you ever had, anything. It's just fear. Do you have fear like I'm talking to you about? Now it's not the fear of the lion or starving. It's the fear of ego. It's the fear of the self-concept. I built this self-concept inside myself of how I want people to look at me. You got one? How I behave, how I walk, how some people walk certain ways, they show power, they dress certain clothes, power clothes. Give me a break. Why would you do? I mean, yes, do it, but don't listen to me. I told you, don't listen to me. But you'll see over time, what in the world is this about? What do we know? Dress a certain way or something like that. Why? Because you're not okay. And you think that being a certain way and acting a certain way and talking a certain way and presenting yourself a certain way will mean you don't get rejected. It means you don't have to deal with fear. You're strong enough. I took control over it. Look at the car I'm driving. I can't afford it, but man, I drive a Ferrari. You hear me? Status symbols, homes, a neighbor's building a home nicer than yours. No, I had the nicest house in the neighborhood. You hear me? How neurotic can it get? It's the same fear that I told you to look at from the beginning, that you admitted was in there. It is expressing itself. If you're living in a fancy neighborhood, you drive away from your house, you see there's some weeds on your lawn, there's no weeds on the neighbor's lawn, it bothers you all day. How come the gardener didn't take care of that? What's wrong with my landscape people? I don't have to live in a house that looks like that. One weed, okay? So it's that same fear expressing itself through everything. And you just keep running away from it by trying to get the weed cut or yelling at the gardener or changing the gardeners, by changing things outside so you don't have to face what's going on inside. No. So it's your next step. You notice, just with Sally and us hand alone, not these giant things, you notice what's going on in there. You don't normally notice, you try to do something about it. I don't notice I'm neurotic about the fact that a weed is growing on the lawn and my neighbor has perfectly tailored golf course lawns. All right? I know you guys are not like that, but you know what I'm talking about. I purposely don't take the ones that you are sensitive about, try to get a little off topic, but you know what I'm talking about. Instead of noticing there's a piece of grass on my lawn and I'm neurotic, I'm scared that people won't like me. Okay, instead of doing that, you use that energy that should be being used to work on yourself inside to change the outside so you don't have to deal with it. In fact, maybe you ram on your brakes, run back in the garage, and take a snipper and cut it off myself. And I don't care if I'm late for work. I'm going to live with it. See what I'm saying? You're trying to solve the non-problem. You're accepting that, you're reinforcing this is a problem. There's a problem that grass is there, that I don't have the nicest lawn and around, or a problem that somebody didn't call at the right time. You try to solve it instead of looking inside. That's witness consciousness. Looking inside saying, whoa, if I'm like this, I'm in trouble, because there's always something to be bothered about, isn't there? Always, all day, there's something to be bothered about. Anybody listening? This is a stairway to heaven. So you take a look at it, and at some point you say, I don't want to be like that. I'm not like that, because you are, right? But it's not who I am. I'm the one who notices that that's going on in here because of these silly little situations, the ego situations, right? Go to lunch and drop some ketchup on your dress or your pants. I want to watch. No, I want to watch. I made him watch. I make him watch. There's no way I'm dealing with that. How can I live in here? You can't deal with the fact that some ketchup's on his stupid pants. You go in there, you put a napkin over it, and then you do a thing. Your hand is there all the time, and you don't want to go to work. Should I go and wash it? No, I'm late. Thank you. It is a joke, isn't it? You should be laughing. You got to laugh at it. It's crazy. You don't want to live like that, do you? And it's not like, oh, look, hey, Sally, look at my dress and catch on my. That's just neutralizing the energy because you told somebody about it before they noticed. You hear me? Right? How would I want you to be? You don't even notice. It don't matter. Go to work, looking at it, and it's nothing. I want it to be nothing. Like I said, it's nothing. You're sitting on a planet spinning in the middle of nowheres. Told you that sun was one star. There's 300 billion in your galaxy, and there's 2 trillion galaxies, and there's a spot of ketchup on your pants. How do we expand our frame of reference? There's lots of techniques. I use them all, right? And so you basically, now we're at the next level. Now we're at the ego level where my self-concept is it's fear. The fear that my self-concept will not work, that I'll be rejected. I'm afraid to give a talk. I could mess up. I remember in 5th grade, I gave a talk and they laughed at me. You're 35 years old. What are you doing? I just still have that in me. I just keep hiding from it. I dress a certain way, act a certain way. I have big people that help me and put them in front of me first. Make sure you check everything out first. See what the audience is like. What are you doing? I'm being neurotic. I can't live my life. It's all fear. Do you see how much fear it is? Now I'm talking about it. There's a lot of fear in there, isn't it? It's all coming from that deep thing underneath that you're running away from. All right, so now we're ready for the next step, which is I notice that this ego is a problem. What do you mean? The fact that I built a concept of myself means it's not myself. It's a concept of myself. And it's pretty heavy to carry around because everyone I meet, I have to present myself that they'll accept the part of myself I presented to them. And sometimes, you want to talk about trouble with life? Sometimes when you're around your parents, you present a very different person than when you're around your boyfriend or girlfriend or your best friends, right or wrong. Wow, now figure it out. Now what do you do when your best friend shows up at your parents' house when you thought you're on vacation? Excuse me. What have you done? You built a neurotic mess inside. That's your next step. I'm taking big steps. We got to run out of time. I want to get you there. What's that step? That step is not figuring out how to present the right thing to every person so they accept you. It's a step of saying, do I want to build a false concept of myself? Who says it's false? You keep changing the thing. Have you ever said to somebody, right? No, don't leave. Don't leave. I'm so sorry. No, I can change. I can change. I know you don't like me being like that. I don't have to be like that. I promise. Uh-oh. In other words, you made somebody up. It didn't work. I can make up another one. Just tell me how you want me to be. Come on. And these are sensitive moments, but it's the truth, isn't it? If you can make up another one, then it wasn't who you were. And it keeps changing anyways, doesn't it? That's not to say self-concept when you were 10, 20, 30, 50. You're just not being real because of fear. You built all of this out of fear. That ego is built out of fear. You understand that? Talk about don't build your house on sand. Don't build your house on top of a self-concept that just sell to everybody and prove all the time. And so you wake up a little next, the next step. Do I have to live like this? No. Is it painful? That first step, like it was painful when the sun was too hot and I was bothering about it. That's a little bit painful. Now it's a little more painful. What do you mean? What if somebody expects me to be a certain way and it's not who I am? It doesn't feel right. It is not my morals. It is not my pole star. It's not where I want to go. But there's a peer group pressure, right? To walk away and be true to yourself. I'm not done with self yet, but really, we're not done with self yet, okay? We haven't gotten there yet. But you see the stairway? These are layers of liberation, and you're going to have to walk them. So now I'm sitting there. What happens if I decide deep inside for no reason other than I need to be true to the deepest part of myself, okay? To that which I've seen. Maybe I'll see more later, but the deepest part of myself, no. And I walk away. It hurts. You will have trouble. You will feel rejected. You will be afraid. You were strong enough to walk away, but your mom will say, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that, right? You know, work with that. How? What I have found is the word is relax. First, notice. Then try to find the deepest part of your being. It's not the end yet. Just find the deepest part you've seen so far and be true to that. Make me cry. Be true to that. You hear me? It's not easy, is it? I don't care. If you want to go up, you need to take that next step. And the next step is, if the whole world rejects me, but I'm closer to God, I went the right way. You hear me? Peer pressure is a ridiculous, look at what, all right, I don't care whether you're Democrat or Republican, what you like or don't like. Is the place a mess? Answer me. It's just a mess. Peer pressure makes you buy into which mess you want to be. You have to stand alone, not suppress. Be open and sit there and say, I've seen a deeper truth. I want to live it. I don't care. That's that song, The Impossible Dream. Scorned and covered with scars. right? I lived the truth. That's the next step. And you will have to go through hell, inner hell, okay? But it will shock you that people actually respect you for that when it's said and done. That's real strength. Not strong enough to fit in with everybody, not strong enough to wear the right clothes or drive the right car or snip the weed. It's to stand true to yourself. You'll see higher selves as you go up. It's a stairway, but you can't deal with that. I don't care what somebody else says. You be true to yourself. You'll see what you've seen so far, and you live with that. That's your pole star, and you walk toward that. And it's not easy because the world is not like that. But man, you're a great being. So you take that step. Then what? Are we there now? You're not even close. But you got there by noticing the mess, not by ignoring it, not by suppressing it. You hear me? Not by denying it. By seeing, okay, I handled the son. I handled Sally, who didn't say hello. I handled the weed in the grass, right? And now I'm handling the fact that people may not like me. Did you know that? Is that okay with you? That some people don't like you? Listen to me, because if you say no, you're dead. Why? Do you like some people and not like some people the way you are now? Why is that? Because you had experiences in your life that left impressions, some scars inside of you. And this type of person you don't like, that type of person you do like. And we're all different. So if somebody doesn't like you, it's not because of you, it's because of them. It's because of what's going on inside of them, how you are, how they perceive you anyways, how it hits what's already inside of them. My sister died. My sister died last week. And here you are talking about how close you are with your sister. I can't stand you. Get away from me. Okay, that's not you. It's them. Do you understand that? Everybody's judging. That's what not liking you means. I judged you. What are you judging based on? The experiences you had in your life that left some scars and these impressions inside of you. That's where you sit in there with your garbage and your stuff and your value judgments and your opinions and preferences and hopes and dreams. That's a package in there, isn't it? You out there have nothing to do with that package. You have a totally different life. How can you expect to match everybody's package? You don't even want to. It's not like, I don't care about you. No, you don't care enough to where you lose. You don't care. Okay, the deer ran away. Oh, he should have liked me. No, stop it. They run away. All right? And if the person doesn't like you, you rub them the wrong way, or they got rubbed the wrong way. Is that okay with you? It better be okay with you, or you will run around trying to please everybody instead of living the truth within yourself. So how does one do that? Right now we're talking about the next step. This is serious steps. You sit there and you notice this is just ego. This is just impressions, some scars left from my journey, right? And I'm projecting them onto everybody else. And I'm driving myself crazy. Buddha said all life is suffering. He wasn't negative. Now you see what suffering looks like compared to nirvana. So you look at that. How do you deal with that? Because that's multifaceted. It could be anything that's causing that kind of junk with your ego. The answer is relax. I'm going to close it down really quickly. I'm telling you, I've done this for a long time, right? When you see that, what do? Well, you want to say something. You want to fix something. You want to apologize. You want to tell them, I don't like you either. You want to do something. That's just protection. That's just the fear expressing itself. Relax. How can I relax? It's scary if somebody didn't like you and talking against you. You hear that somebody said something that wasn't even true. I'm telling you, relax. How can I relax? Because the energy inside of you does not want to relax. It's reactive. It wants defensive, reactive, fight back, whatever it is, fight or flight. It doesn't relax. It won't relax. That's messy energy. You in there that notices it, you relax. That's the next step. That's witness consciousness. You did notice that it got weird in there, did you not? When you got rejected, when somebody talked against you, when somebody said, I don't like you, you're the ugliest person I ever met in the entire world, both inside and out. I never want to see you ever again. You notice that there's this sense of fear. There's this fear comes up and it gets sort of defensive. You in there that noticed, you relax. You can't make anger relax. You can't make fear relax. You can't make insecurity relax. That is their nature. They came up that way. They hit all your stuff and it ends up disturbing your energy. But you in there that notices, you can relax. How can I relax? It's scary. Relax. Relax in the face of the fear? Yes. Not get into it. See the difference we talked about? Relax behind it. Just relax. I can, here it is. Here's your mantra. I can handle this. I can handle this. I can handle this. If that's your mantra. And you just keep relaxing. And what you're going to find is the energy makes it through. And it changes its nature as it makes it through. We're talking deep yoga now. Like all of a sudden it was fear. And all of a sudden it feels like compassion and love. It changes because you're not pushing it back down. You're not creating more resistance to it. When you resist it, it gets worse. And if you stay open and relax through it, it will make it through. And that's strength. The strength to relax and be open in the face of all these negative energies, that's a strong person. Not the person that can go out there and try to make sure there's no negative energies. That's a very weak person. So you relax inside. You just learn to relax. It takes time. Meditation helps. Mantra helps. All the techniques you all do, they help. Okay? But it's work in there. That's your work. And just do it little by little. It's not going to happen fast. Accept this one. Honor that one. Let one go. Oh, wow. Far out. Now, the next time you see the person, you're going to want to feel like you handled it. I let go. That does not mean it's gone. All right? You let go. Now, next time you see him, you want to not see them. You want to walk the other road. Oh, my God. I don't want to talk to him. Right? You go and you walk up there. You just make him walk up there. I did it all the time. And you don't say, why don't you like me? Which is what it wants to say. That's your inner strength. You take that little guy in there. You got one? That little ego. You take him by the hand like you would a child. And you say, we can deal with this. We cry. This is real growth. Do you understand that? This is the spiritual path. You take him by the hand and you stay inside and you watch and you help him. The Gita says one should raise the self with self, not trample down the self. He's talking about higher self should help lower self, not push it away. That one line, how deep is that? One should raise the self, the capital S. One should raise the self with self, not trample down the self. For self, which could be self's friend, can become self's foe. Learn how to be clear inside and lift the rest of you up, not protect it. Just keep letting go, keep relaxing through it. You can do it. And then what happens? Then you start noticing some things happen that don't bother you anymore because you learn how to deal with that energy. Just keep relaxing, relaxing, relaxing through it, okay? And next thing you know, you become established in the seat of self. What does that mean? You who was in there watching all this is now who you are. You're not what you watch. You're not who you were. You're not anything that ever happened to you. You're the one it happened to. And you're in that space and it doesn't leave. It doesn't ever leave. You become established in that seat. And I have to stop. Right? I haven't gotten anywhere yet. You are way higher than that. Come back, we'll do part 2. Jagged.
You've been listening to the Michael Singer Podcast, produced by Sounds True in partnership with Shanti Publications. For more information on Michael's body of work and all back episodes, please join us at michaelsingerpodcast.com. Thanks so much for listening. Sounds True, waking up the world.